This is going to be a very, very short show, so get questions in. I'm not going to be here till 6:30. I have too many big lineups. This is a 10K plus invested day for me, so it's a big one. But I will get through my plays that I like, and then we'll get through some questions. But we'll try and do it as fast as possible, and make sure it give people some time to get in, and we'll get going. Anyway, so here's who I'm spending up on, and I'm not going to go over this multiple times because I just don't have the time today for it. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. Spend ups. LeBron, I have at 30. I'm just going to go through my ownerships of players. I have too much Derek Walton at 34%. Some of that's going to turn into Romeo Langford and other things. As we just got the news that Pritchard is sorry, that Smart is out. I like Pritchard as well. I'm going to try and get some more of him. I will go through like the highest owned guys I've got. Diallo. I like Reddish. Diallo, I've got over 50% right now, which I don't want to have that much, but I do want to have a good portion of him. Cam Johnson, I have around 30% of him. Luka Garza, I have 35% of right now. Going to change probably a little bit. 40% Marcus Morris, 35% Nasir Little, 30% Desmond Bain, 20% Trae Young, 30% Vooch, 30% Kyle Anderson. I'm probably going to end up a little higher than that. 20% Al Horford, 30% Capella, but that's going to change. I'll be less than that on Capella. 25% Steven Adams, 30% JaVale McGee, 25% Duarte, 30% Monk, but I think I'm going to change some of that as well. 30% Morant. And and with that said, that's pretty much a little shot into what I'm doing tonight. What's up to everybody in the chat? Let's get it. But we're going to keep this as a really short show. I'm going to be here for just another 10 minutes because I've got too many lineups to build and too much to get through to finalize anything. So pop in the questions as soon as you can. I'm just giving all my ownerships to everything. What else have we got here that I didn't maybe mention? I do like Mason Plumlee as a large field tournament play. I think that he's actually really interesting. And we've seen the minutes tick up a little bit for him at times. And against Indy, who plays big, you'd think they would want some size out there. And I think Plumlee sort of fits the mold. So I think he should be out there a good amount of the game, assuming that there's no foul trouble, et cetera. A sneaky play, Zubac is an interesting pivot off of Steven Adams, who I like. I like both of those guys, but I really like Steven Adams. I really want to highlight the Marcus Morris play, though. I think that's a really, really solid play with the way the Clippers are right now. And again, I have probably way too much of Diallo at the moment, but I do like him a lot. And it's just a matter of he versus Bain versus Reddish, and I have a lot of all those guys. But obviously, it's kind of a tough toss-up between them. I'm going to get more Peyton Pritchard, so I have 20% right now. I probably will end up with a little bit higher than that. I like Chris Duarte at 20% for my ownership of him. I think that LeVert is viable on DK. I think he's a lock on Fanduel. That's where I'm at for my early builds. So pop in the questions and we'll get out of here. If there's any Porzingis or Brunson love. Yeah, I like them. I like both those guys, but I don't think that it's like a priority play for me. I do like that they're in the last game. I like that Kristaps is a ceiling. I think he's going to be really popular. And I think an interesting pivot off of him at that ownership would be LeVert. Because I think LeVert has pretty much the same style. And LeVert's going to have ownership as well. So it's not like I'm totally getting off the board with that. But I do think I slightly prefer LeVert over Porzingis. And Brunson's price on DraftKings, it makes it a little bit tough. But I think he's a solid play if that's how your builds lead you. I just didn't lead myself there very often. So that's where I am for the Dallas guys. I don't think that – I think DFS is viable if you end up as the last piece. I've ended up a couple lineup builds like that. I think that's pretty much the only Dallas guys that I think are viable tonight. I think Porzingis number 1, Brunson number 2, DFS number 3, and I don't think I'm going to be well above the field on all of them. I do think it's a good spot for Porzingis, so I might try to force him into a couple builds. It's just hard because I'm playing a lot of LeBron and a lot of Morris, which takes up my power forward spots, so it's a little bit tricky for me. I also like Al Horford, Nasir Little, some other guys that make it harder for me to get in Porzingis. Bay still a lock on FanDuel. I never said he was a lock on FanDuel, but I have two major lineups on FanDuel, and Bay is in one of them. And I just sort of separated he and Diallo over there, even though I like both of them. They're fine to play together. I just happen to separate them because, like I said, LeVert is a lock for me over there. I think Sabonis is a great play over there. I love Ja. I love what did I do here with my build? I need to change a few things in my FanDuel builds, but I'll get back to that after. Let me make a note to myself. And it's very different on FanDuel and DraftKings. So if you guys are playing on FanDuel and asking questions, you better specify FanDuel because I have no idea what you're talking about. If you're not going to talk about FanDuel, because if you're not, I'm just assuming DraftKings unless you do. I just said I have Monk a good amount. I don't think it's a great play, to be honest with you, at the ownership and that he's going to have. I think that it's volatility, and they're getting Ellington back. It is the second of a back-to-back. We haven't heard about anybody resting. They need to win games right now, but I don't think Monk is any sort of a lock of any kind. But if he's really going to be 15 or 20%, I think he's a good play at that ownership, just because of the volume of shots and the team that he's playing against in Memphis. Carmelo is an interesting large field play, but I think there's better plays in the same price range. I'd rather play Duarte. Feel a little safer with Duarte, but I think Carmelo definitely has a ceiling. It's just he's old. It's a back-to-back. It's a little bit thinner for me to play him. Keep popping in the questions because that's what we're going to do is basically just a Q&A. Favorite FanDuel centers right now, Steven Adams, Vucevic are my top ones. I don't mind if you want to overspend for Garza. The other ones you'd look at, let me just grab my notes here. I think the long shot one would be a guy like Zubac. But Adams, Zubac on the low end, Vooch and Capella on the high end, and Garza and McGee in the middle, and then you could play Kristaps over there as well. I do like Kristaps quite a bit on FanDuel. I also just happen to like Sabonis, so it's a little bit tricky between those two to figure out which one you'd rather be playing. That's where I'm at on center on FanDuel. Is Gobert viable? I mean, look, there's always a way that Gobert can get there, but I'm not finding any builds with Gobert personally. There's a lot of good centers tonight. LeBron is a great play tonight. I mentioned that one already. What's up to MJ? And I think that's most of the questions. So keep popping them in, and I will thoughts on Shea. So I actually think this is a pretty bad spot for OKC. But Shea he's a good play, but he's going to be really, really, really popular. And I think I'd rather play LeVert, who will be a little less popular. But Shea is, of course, a good play. Like, I mean, he's even at 9,200, I think it's viable enough to take a shot there. I'm finding myself with more, if I was going to play one and think that game stays close, I'd have more interest in Lou Dort probably than I would Shea, but obviously that's a big price position difference. And again, it sort of crosses over some of the power forwards I like. But I do think Shea is definitely in play. I'm a little worried about how the game goes, but against his former teammate in Chris Paul, I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't feel as great about that one. I do have interest in Clarkson. I have him in some lineups. I don't have him in my main builds at the moment, but I have no problem if you want to prioritize him. I think Conley's the really low-owned option that you could take some shots on, but I didn't find him in as many builds as this price is hard. No one's going to play him, so I think it's kind of interesting. But I think that he or Clarkson probably has a good game tonight. Clarkson being the more likely of the two, but I don't think it's any sort of a lock. So I don't mind if you want to take a shot with Conley. One name I haven't heard all day, but he's going to be owned is Damian Lillard. And I want to try to force him into some lineups because he has had some big games against this Utah team in the past especially when they tend to need him. They definitely will tonight with how limited their roster is. So he and Nasir Little will be my favorite plays from the Portland side over there. Certainly a lot of ways to go tonight. I just said Sabonis is one of the best plays on FanDuel at power forward, but along with Kristaps, which depends on which one you want to go with. But yeah, I do like Clarkson. I actually was debating whether or not to do a 2v2 swap with Pritchard and Clarkson, and I can't remember who the other one was, but I really like Pritchard now, and I think that I'm going to take that shot because he just keeps producing at the 5K and get a little discount off Clarkson, who is volatile and doesn't need to go nuts for them to win. Okay. Other guys who I'm not playing tonight. Julius Spendeps, I'm not playing. Julius Randle, we're still probably going to hear about a bunch of news, so just be ready for that. Julius Randle, I'll be over the field on Westbrook. I'll be below the field if it's really 20% on Lillard, but I don't think it's really going to be that high. I will have probably 10% of him. I'll be below the field on Levine. I'll be above the field on Jaylen Brown. I'll be with the field, maybe a little bit ahead on LaMelo. I will be little below the field on DeRozan, which feels kind of wrong because he just had this huge game the other night. Probably below the field on Porzingis, below the field on Shai Gilgeous, above the field on LeBron, or with the field-ish, with the field on Trey. And then we get into guys who I like a little better. I really like Vooch tonight. I will be with the field at 30%. I really like Ja tonight. I will be with the field around 30%. I will be below. I won't have Halliburton. Booker, I'm not getting to, even though I think he's a fine play. I just not ending up there very much. Capella, I have a little bit of, as I mentioned. Chris Paul is a play that you could probably get away with playing, but I'm not getting there very much. I'm not getting very much Jalen Brunson. I'm not getting very much Sadiq Bey. This is all in DraftKings. Miles Turner is a really interesting play, probably more so on Fanduel, but just with the shot block and steal upside against a team that plays fast like Charlotte, get a little sloppy at times. But I think he's a good tournament play, and I think he's going to have some ownership on FanDuel, but won't on DraftKings. But I still like him on FanDuel. I like Al Horford as a pivot off of some of these other guys, and I think it's a decent enough matchup for him. He fits that mid range that I'm sort of looking for, and I feel like it's a really good shot at getting 40 fantasy points or so, which I would take for his price. Because in that tier tonight, I feel like you have a lot of guys who, Buddy Hields and Norman Powell's and Harrison Barnes, who just really don't feel great. I think Kemba's kind of an interesting tournament play to go back to after he killed us last night, but I don't think I'm going to actually get that much of it. Not on Robert Williams. I do like Conley as a long shot play. I think Jaren Jackson's a fine long shot play, but there's better plays, so I'm not getting to him. Not getting to Rozier very much. Not getting to much Bledsoe on DK, but I do like him on FanDuel. Diallo, I'm going to be above the field on. I can't resist the minutes. Reddish, minutes and shots, I'm going to be above the field. Desmond Bane, I'll be above the field. And RJ Barrett will be below the field, or not below the field. I just won't have him much. But I actually think he's kind of like a weird, sneaky tournament play on a back-to-back here. But I don't think I'm going to end up getting to it just with the way that I like other builds better. And I'm just going through the ownership list, and that's pretty much what I got. I will answer a couple more questions, and then we're going to get out of here because it's a big one today. Yes, Carnes, that's the big question. Let's win $1 million tonight. I feel good about it. I do like Duarte to answer that question. Joe Ingles is not interesting to me at 4,500 on FanDuel. Sure, it could happen, but there's just so many better plays than him. I am going to win the $1 million. Let's go, buddy. It's time to happen. Really have come close. I really had a shot on Sunday. I just missed in the football, and that one play gets called back. I would have finished third. I ended up 23rd. Also could have got some more Montgomery love down the stretch when they had some goal line opportunities and he didn't get there. Rody, you can have second place, buddy. Come on, give it to me. Maybe we can do a little percentage swap or something in case one of us gets it. But I really I wish you guys all luck. I'm sorry to have. I do have a little bit of Westbrook and I do like Morant. But that's pretty much all I've got for what I'm going to do because I do need to go back to it, and wouldn't be fair to some of the people who are betting on me to give away everything in my main lineups today. So I am just telling you all the guys, I gave you guys all the ownerships that I have. If you want to play back the video, it's there. And I really appreciate everybody hanging in there. Please like it and all that stuff. And let's crush it tonight. I'll be in Discord and I will try to answer as many questions as possible. Like I said, it's a little bit of an unusual night. We don't get the $2,500 million tournaments very often on DK. So time to win it. Hopefully at least one of me, Rody, or Sheets can win it because I think Sheets will have an entry. I know Rody's going to have 3 entries. I've got 3 entries in there. So maybe one of us can take it down and be a big true DFS win. You guys can win the 100Ks. I would be really happy for that to happen. Good luck to all you guys. I really appreciate you all. Sorry for the short stream today. We have no sheets. And like I said, I've got a lot of builds to get through and a lot of numbers to go through. So I'm going to finish up over there. Good luck, everybody. For everybody at True DFS, I'm Bobby saying, let's crush them tonight. And again, I'll be in Discord and I'll try to answer whatever questions I can, even after lock.